Hey, what's up? Liron here. Thank you for joining me. We should be live. Let me just test things out on the YouTube side and close this. And I have a bit of a weird setup today, so you will forgive me if things are a little wonky, but it's going to be fun. Hey, Henny, very excited to have you here too. Today's going to be a fun announcement. I see 13 people. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to let people join, and I'm going to check it out, make sure I can hear myself. Good, good. I'm actually on mute because otherwise I'm going to hear myself delayed, which is really annoying because of the weird setup I have right now. So basically, I have two cameras, but I'm on the other side, as you can see here, not the desk side, but right here. I want to be able to show you some of the paintings that we're going to talk about the car paintings, of course. That's what I alluded to with the thumbnail. So I want to be able to do that. So it may be a bit of a compromise. But in any case, I hope it's going to be fun. We're going to, again, let more people get in. Then I'm going to share. I actually don't have too much of things to talk about today. It's just going to be that. So I want it to be more like time for you to ask any questions, if you may have, or open things for discussion. Like, it doesn't have to be a question. If there's anything you want me to talk about, feel free to ask. For example, if you're curious about my coffee, this is actually coffee with a ball of ice cream in it. So I've really allowed myself to kind of enjoy this one. Hey, Betty, how are you doing from Augusta, Georgia, US? Thank you so much for being here. I'm just trying to find a good setup for this thing here. Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to just turn on the other camera. Such an annoying quality. Let's do this way so that at least it looks like we can imagine it's a little sharp. But in any case, I just wanted to be able to show you some of the car paintings. You're familiar with probably most of these, but it does have to do with them. So I think it's going to be fun. Let me see if I can find like an actual normal setup. Of course, that's not going to work. How about this? No. Okay, yeah, that's better. So if I do this, okay, good. So we'll do some. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know yet how I want to show this. I just hate that it zoomed in like this. Let me go back solo here. Hey, Prima, how are you doing? Waiting for the announcement. More curious to know. Hey, John, how are you doing? Livestream is the best part of the week for you. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. The last couple of weeks have been very strange for me because I've been doing more of the things I've been pushing aside in the past, and I have been allowing myself to focus more on tasks that I used to not focus as much on for the health of the business's future, which has been a lot of challenges and a lot of fun too. I'm working on a few new products for you that are going to be, I think, things to be excited about. Some watercolor, some general, but you're going to see one of them I am going to talk about today. So that's going to be really interesting. Hey, Marina, how are you doing? Hope everyone's doing well in any case. So yeah, I've been devoting some time over the last 3 weeks or so to working on this big product. I'm working on, it's not today's announcement, but it's something I'm going to talk about that I alluded to in the past as well. It's going to be something, kind of a membership thing. So hopefully it will be fun. It won't detract anything from the channel or from the existing content, but it's going to add a lot. I'm just really putting a lot of thought into how I want to build this so that it actually achieves the goal. And the goal is to help people with watercolor, to help you go past the challenges that can be covered in one course, let's say. So something that is more deep when it comes to getting started, going back on track, practicing and being consistent in your practice. Let me play around just for 1 second. I just want to make sure that the exposure is good. Okay, yeah, I'm playing around with the wrong camera. Silly me. Okay, it's good. It's going to be okay. So yeah, a couple of things that are outside the scope of a single course. So basically, I want to address a lot of the environment issues that people struggle with, like how to actually have an environment that encourages you to practice and to improve yourself and to actually see the results you deserve. Because right now, a lot of people, I feel like, know the right thing to do, but either don't do it or there are some nuances that you need some help with, and then that really gets you stuck. But yeah, uh, so this is kind of the one of the big things I've been working on. Another big thing is kind of developing a B2B side for the business, so working more with businesses, basically taking my courses and offering them to institutions and things of that nature. That's going to be huge, but that's really behind the scenes. I don't share too much of that. But I think there's good potential there. And that's something, again, you don't see. That's something that is more business facing, internal. This is why I've been a little quiet because I've been really focusing on all of these things. Yesterday, I worked for like 6 hours on one specific thing I want to develop. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And I actually, the thing that comes naturally to me the most is this: is talking to people, to you, doing the videos and everything, and selling to customers, not necessarily companies or institutions. But that's something I feel like I have to get into at some point. So yeah. Let's look at the chat we have here. Paul, how are you doing? Oops, Paul and Albert and Pierre. And Hanny asks, sorry for possibly an annoying question, but I've done the frustration-free course and wondering what the realism course is about and if it's suitable for me. Yeah, definitely. So the realism course is just the frustration-free watercolor course is how to get that element of looseness in your work, meaning not necessarily if you want to paint loose, you can paint realistically with that approach too, but it's about letting go of rigidity. That's a big thing with watercolor, pretty much no matter the style you're going to work. So it was important for me to create a product that actually addresses that. People that have a hard time letting go, they feel stuck on the details and so on and so forth. You know, you've been through the course. The watercolor realism course is more of a solution to another specific problem, and that is creating a sense of realism, which comes down to the values, the colors, the shapes, and the edges. And so this course gives you a kind of a streamlined method. Okay, it's not the end all be all. It's a streamlined method for achieving realism. So you have this blueprint to follow, this plan. No matter what reference you're painting, if you follow these steps, you'll eventually be able to paint it realistically. That's again not the end all be all, because realism is just one aspect. How can you improve the scene? How can you enhance it, make it more interesting, make it more you? Those are all elements that I don't really think anyone can teach. It's more about you discovering yourself. I, as a teacher, can help you do that, right? So one is to solve the looseness problem. The second, the watercolor realism, is just for achieving realism. The way, from my being familiar with your work, I think you're doing really well in that field. So if you want to take it to like another level a bit, or kind of help you with things like edges and values just for a bit, it could help you. But honestly, from based on your work, I think you're doing fine, and you're at a stage where you just have to practice as much as you can, and you'll get to wherever you want to get. But yeah, in any case, just like other courses, I provide a money back and all of that, so anyone can just try them out. Not the end of the world if you don't like something. I offer that for pretty much all of my products that I sell directly. Vi is here, wondering if you have a preference between using a synthetic paintbrush over a natural hairbrush, if you think that synthetic pose a problem since they're not good for environment. Yeah, both aren't really good for animals and the environment. Obviously, natural hair for obvious reasons. I really am not sure. I had good brushes on both sides, so it's really hard for me to tell. Um, I would say I am also relying on um, synthetic or natural brushes quite a bit, and I do use a blend sometimes. I don't really have a preference. Some are good on both sides. So if you care about the environment, honestly, it's hard to tell which one is better and which one is worse. Honestly, not sure. That's a good question. Both are bad. Like this, the natural is bad for animals. That's definitely. So I don't have a good answer for that, but you can find good in both. So whatever you feel like is the worst, is the least bad option, go with that. And also, so many are made annually, and most go in the garbage and then break down to dangerous. Yeah, okay, that's a problem. See, I didn't really have that experience with any kind of brush. I mean, the ones that I like using, maybe older ones. So if anything, if you want to do something for the environment, just buy one that's good quality and that's gonna last years, that you don't have to throw it away ever. You know, I would say that's your better bet in that case. I like Skoda, I like Levinson. These are my two main ones. Silver Black Velvet too, I really like. But the thing is, with them, they started cracking a bit after 2 years or so. But still, it may not last as long as the ones I mentioned. And you can find, by the way, the links to everything in the description box. There's going to be like a gear thing where you can see all of my tools, and then you can find the exact ones. James, how are you doing? Greetings from London. Pierre, I think I've done too much too quickly, and now I've uh, ground to a confused halt. Do you mean like just painting? That that happens to me a lot too, not in painting, but in everything else. Yesterday, honestly, I spent so much time researching platforms for that membership thing, and it's such a nightmare because nothing is good out of the box. Like I looked at a few solutions, it's not going to interest anyone almost, but like there's Kajabi, there's Teachable, there's Thinkific, and they all suck. The reason I don't go with the same system that I've been using for my current courses is that it's not as well suited to a membership site where there's updating content and there can be 5 courses, 20, 30 videos. There can be a lot of content on that. Um, so I may just end up going with WordPress and a bunch of premium plugins because I can't find a solution that's out of the box that's good for me. So yesterday I've been spending like 5 hours, or it was 2 days ago, spending like 5 hours just researching solutions, playing around with demos. Nothing worked the way I wanted. And then at the end, I was like, I have no idea what to do. So I just kind of closed all the 30 tabs, extra tabs on my Chrome, and just quit and then did something else. It's so frustrating sometimes. But yeah. Maybe I'll get a programmer to do it, and that's it. Richard, hello everyone. Hope you're all awesome today. Thank you for being here. Hey, Aaron. Slight echo on the video. Hopefully that improves. You might have two mics. Let me hear this for a second. Yeah, I don't know because I'm running into a different problem. Let's see if anyway. Let me know if you experience this. Sound is echoey. Okay, yeah. So that's not good. Let me check something out. Okay, I may be able to fix it. I thought I fixed it. Oh, of course, because I'm not muted. Okay, yeah, that's not good. Just a second here. Audio. Can't I just mute this? That's the wrong one. Mute this. Let me know if it worked. If it's still echoey. Now I'm the only one who's supposed to hear an echo. It was the other camera was on for some reason. Let me know if it was solved now. But yeah, sorry about that. The problem is not with this camera and this mic. It's with this camera and another camera to the side. Hey Mario sends hi from Haifa. Thank you so much, Aaron. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay for the stream. So if you read this, I'm already gone. Okay. Hey Kate, how are you doing? Hope everything is well. Henny, thanks, Liron. I've never used it before. So what's the Discord about, and is it still running? Yeah, it's still running. I haven't been active for a couple of like a week, at least a week. It's like a community thing where you can chat. Oh, thank you. Happy the audio got better. Where you can chat, show your paintings, and so on. It's so my thing is I'm not really good at building communities. I tried like I don't like it as much too. So I have a local watercolor Facebook group. Well, all the other groups are very highly managed and they do competitions and they do stuff. I don't do any of it. I don't have much patience for it. And once in a blue moon, we did a competition. It was really good, but it's not my natural way of kind of mode of operating. So I don't do that much. So I kind of let the community do its thing. That's what happens in Discord. There are great people there that share their paintings and people that you see here too in the chat. So it's a really good place to share and get some feedback. I'm honestly not getting recently to be as active as I'd want to. Probably after I do all of these internal business things, I will have some more free time. But for the sake of the business, I have to do a couple of things. Investments for the long run, revenue increasing investments for the long run. So I'm kind of having to put things on the back burner. The fact that I'm only posting 2 YouTube videos, even though last week's, I think it was 3, I'm not sure, also helps with that. But these things may change, Henny, I'd love for us to do a themed painting a day month challenge. Yeah, so that's something that I'm considering doing with the membership thing. On Discord, yes, probably too as well, because it's been a while and people wanted it. It's just not my natural kind of way of operating. Unfortunately, I'm not that strong of a community builder, except for things like this. Here on YouTube, that's fun. That comes more natural to me. Pierre, I think brushes would be a trillionth bit of the plastic. Yeah, maybe. John says, "Hi, Liron. Sounds is echoey. Thank you." Okay, yeah. So we'll get back. I think we can go into the announcement. I'm just gonna do it. Just tell you, it's not huge, but it's something I'm very excited about. Hey, Billy. Hope you have a good day too. Hey, Alessandro, Bethany, how are you doing? Hey, Mark. Thank you, John, for letting me know. Thank you, Mark, for letting me know. Thank you, Betty. Good morning, Paula from Yorktown, Virginia. I've sent an email to you concerning address to mail a product to you to try. I'm thinking you aren't receiving the mail. Oh, that's weird. I didn't see it, but no, I just haven't saw it. Haven't seen it. Can you send it to what email address did you send it to? I'm going to check right now. Is it the Liron at Lironian, the main one? I don't know why I didn't see it. Let's see here. I'll just make sure that I did get it. Maybe I missed it, but I have gone over emails yesterday and the day before. I haven't replied to everyone, but I did see yours. But I would have seen yours. Oh, okay. I see it now. I accidentally marked it as red and then didn't reply. I'll do it right after this live stream. Okay. I need a note thing. I'm gonna write it on my palm. There we go. I'll send you the address. Sorry about that. Okie doke. Cubs win. How are you? Good day from Texas. Always happy to see Liron. Thank you so much. Marina, check spam folder. Yeah, it's not. It's in the main one. I just missed it. My bad. Kusum Shabong Art. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. A quick one. Which Daniel Smith reds are your favorite? Pyrrole Scarlet and Quinacridone Rose. These are the simplest ones. Pyrrole Scarlet isn't really that simple to use. It's actually quite complex sometimes. I also really liked. Which one was it? I think it's PR 101. If that's a thing, Daniel Smith. Let's see, because I forgot its name, but it's a red I enjoyed using quite a bit. Synthetic red oxide. Venetian, no, so that's not the one. Wait. There was another one that I liked. I like Perlin Red too, but that's I found some better options. All Daniel Smith reds, but these are my main ones. The ones I use the most, are these that I just mentioned. Okay, let's see. Fall in love with red. Pyrrole red, Perlin red. Parallel, Quinacridone red. Rose Madder permanent really looks good. Carmine. I liked Carmine too from the little bit I used it. I also liked what's it called? Alizarin Crimson hue, I believe. Nothing comes close to the actual Alizarin Crimson. That was one that I really, really enjoyed. Unfortunately, it's not as permanent. That's like a really beautiful one of the most beautiful ones. But yeah. Hey, Lollipop, how are you? Hey, Javi Jav. You the man. Thank you. Greetings from Chicago. I've got DS permanent red. Oh, awesome. Yeah, you haven't missed too much. Here we go. We'll get to the announcement. So here's the thing. Remember, I started the 100 Cars Challenge, and I don't even remember when, but I can kind of check it based on my Instagram story. So let me check real quick. I started about probably 2 years ago or something like that. Let's see, 100 cars. The first one I posted was in 113 weeks ago. So that's what, 2 years, something like that. So I started it back then. And ever since then, it's a project. I wanted to paint 100 cars. Didn't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I did mention in the beginning, if you remember, compiling it into a picture book. So that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna turn all of the paintings, and let me show you right here next to me. Of course, it's out of focus. I'm gonna take all of these, and as soon as the camera is focused, I'm gonna compile them into a picture book. There we go. Okay, I think that's as sharp as it gets. Let me check the ugly zoomed in version. Why won't it? That's weird. Oh, yes, sorry, I'm on the wrong key, of course. Okay, yeah. Good. So basically, I want to turn all of these into a high quality picture book, um, where you can look at all of the paintings and really um, hear a bit of the story of painting them, the things I learned, this entire process of this challenge. I'm just going to flip through these, and you'll notice like the first one, I put a lot of effort into. Um, and then it goes a little downhill. So we're going to go over them real quick. It's something I have done a few times, but I'm at number, I don't even remember. Let me check what number I'm at. So this is going to be 83, right? That's the current one, 83. So I have what, 17 more to go. That's not much. And I want this to really be a high quality thing. And because it's a book, it's going to be probably relatively affordable. Um, and just a fun picture book, hardcover, maybe also paperback, probably also Kindle, like digital version, but it's going to be available on Amazon, hopefully other stores as well. We'll see about that. Um, but I want to produce a high quality book, something that feels really good, good paper, good printing quality, and so that you can have 100 of my paintings that you can flip through and look at and enjoy, hopefully. Um, Very accessible, and you can put it in the library or whatever, and it will hopefully look really good from the outside, everything. And talk a bit about this process as a challenge. You see how I kind of lost track of what I wanted to paint, and many of these were a lot of mistakes, a lot of mess ups. But then somehow, somewhere around car 5, things started clicking for me, which is this one where I really control the wet and wet here, I think, well. And I know this isn't a subject for everyone, and people always make fun of how much I like to paint cars, but it's not really about that. It's more about the experience of choosing a subject and really pushing for it to be optimized, like to be really good at painting it. And I always suggested this to people, like do a challenge, like choose one subject that you enjoy and do a bunch of these, and you learn a lot about them. Here's one of my favorites. This is, I think, like number 7 or something like that. I don't count. Number 6. So I'm missing something. That's weird. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. Oh, okay, okay. I flipped the order. This is supposed to be, it's this one first. Not that it matters, but yeah, this is actually number 6. So this is one of my favorites for sure. This is to me a perfect painting. I don't know how I produced it, but it's a perfect painting. And the reason it's funny to say I don't know how I produced it, because it was kind of done without too much plan. I just got very lucky, and I'm going to talk about that in the book too. But of course, the skill goes into it. But this is perfect. This is exactly the way I want. I wouldn't change a thing about this one. And then there's a bunch more. Like this has good technique too, for example, but I don't like it as much. There's a bunch of these, like, and a lot to talk about. Um, Now, I have considered doing a watercolor book, because a lot of people have asked me to do that kind of a thing. But until I feel like I have something that's really unique and high quality of my own, and it could be something around frustration free, like looseness, until I have a really good, distinct idea, I feel like this is a better direction for me right now, just to share the work, get it out there, um, and just be more on that level of, I'm an artist, right? I'm also a teacher, but I feel like this is like the correct right move. Out of all the things I talked about, this feels like the best next move, more than the selling courses to businesses, which is going to be really important, more than a bunch of stuff I haven't talked about. And one thing I have talked about, the membership site and all of that. I feel like this is going to be, and in a way, it's like the best way to get your hands on the art as close as possible, because you have a book with a ton of them. So I think that's going to be fun. I may include a bonus kind of scene or two that may probably have cars in them too, but something a little larger scale. Maybe I'll do that for the 100 or something like this. I also have one that is, actually like a scene. I have one or two scenes that I still include in the challenge. So that's going to be fun, just to give a bit of a variety if you don't want just cars. But yeah, this is a very authentic subject that I enjoy painting a lot. So I feel like it's the most accurate, best thing for me to do. And yeah, I believe a lot of people will be interested in that. And so once I'm going to start doing the launch, once it's closer to being ready, it's going to take some time because I need to finish the paintings, and I also need to do the whole formatting thing, turning it into a book, the cover, the stuff. There's a lot to figure out. But once it becomes more concrete, I'll let you know, and we'll do like a launch. And I'm thinking of doing something where there's a bonus if you buy maybe 3 copies. So it could be fun. Maybe if you buy 3 copies, I'm going to send you something really cool. Maybe I'll send you a signed copy. Maybe we'll figure it out. But I want to do something to encourage like the launch to be a lot of sales and to push it up the charts on Amazon. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But that's pretty much the kind of announcement. Hey, Daiji, happy to have you here. And yeah, let's see what you're saying in the chat. And if you have any ideas for gifts or stuff that I can send to encourage people to purchase the books, maybe a raffle, whatever it is, could be fun. Let me know. I'm curious to hear. Let me switch through to one that I really like, so that it's going to stay stuck on this one I really like. Warm and cool, looks neat. Let's do it like that. There we go. Paula says, "Oh, I hope you will offer your book for sale." Yeah, definitely, that's going to happen. That's exactly the plan. John, congrats. Is this your first picture book? Yes, it is, which is why I'm doing a bit more extra work on, figuring it out. Because for picture books, the formatting really is important. For the other ones, it's more teaching. The content plays a bigger role. Plus, I have more experience now, so I feel like I really want to get it right. Don't know if I'll design it myself, have someone else design it. We'll figure it out. But I want it to be really good and clean. What I have in mind is a very clean design, kind of like the Rooftops of Paris by Fabrice. Keep forgetting his last name. Fabrice Rooftops of Paris. Kind of a clean design. Fabrice Moirot, I think that's how you pronounce it. Very clean design, just focusing on the art and then a bit of text. Maybe I'll do, most of them will be one page with a painting per page, but maybe for something, maybe I'll have extra stuff to say and mention. I'll do a full page kind of thing, where the painting takes up the entire space, and then there's writing on the other side, trying to figure out all of these things. We'll probably look at some examples of different picture books and figure out what works best for me. Thank you, Nancy. Cubs win for this book. Honestly, it shouldn't take too long. It's not a course, it's a book. I'd love for it to be done in 6 months or so, something like that. Just because I have the cards to finish painting, and I'm doing that kind of, again, on the not necessarily on the back burner fully, but I'm doing it while I'm doing other things. So yeah, 6 months sounds like a decent time frame. White Res, a very neat idea. Could be very interesting to add a few lines of handwritten notes somewhere. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I've had in mind. Maybe I'll do it this kind of way. You know what could be crazy? If I handwrite the whole thing, that could be it. But I don't know if it'll probably be uncomfortable to read because my handwriting, and I don't write cursive, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. Richard, Liron, I would like a signed copy, please. It could be a cool idea. Like if you get 3 copies, you get a signed copy and like a small postcard kind of thing, that could be fun. But then if you buy 3 copies, then a 4th one is a lot. But because it's a picture book, I think it could be like it has potential to sell more than one per person, so maybe two, and then you get one that's signed from me directly. Yeah, I'll figure it out, but there will definitely be some signed copies. The thing with signed copies is I have to do the shipping myself. What happens with Amazon is they're perfect. They do everything for you, you know. Love them or hate them, the service is spectacular. You know, I've had my books there since 2013, and it's the print on demand is amazing. They do the whole thing. People, you just provide them with the print ready copy, like a PDF, and then they print, they do everything. You do the marketing, of course. But yeah, so a signed copy, I have to order author copies, and I don't even think they have those for hardcover. But yeah, I'll order a box or two, and then I can do some signed ones. Yeah, that'll definitely be fun. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, maybe I'll just charge for extra for the shipping, and that's it. Or maybe it could be as a gift. I'll have to figure it out. But I want to somehow encourage people maybe to get an extra copy for a friend or something like that, or a gift for someone who likes art, because there's a lot of people who like art. And you know, I'm over the whole watercolor versus other mediums things for now. I feel very in a very interesting place regarding that. So I may title the book 100 Cars in Watercolor, or I may just call it 100 Card Paintings. Um, the way I see it, it's just not that important of a distinction anymore. So it's like I see watercolor at the same level of importance with all other mediums, which is very interesting. I'm trying to think how I can play a role in establishing that, because I'm fully there. But yeah, I wonder. I'm starting to blend the distinction of like watercolor and other paintings. You'll notice even the hashtags I use, they have some watercolor in them, but it's more like painting, painter, painting of the day, blah blah blah, stuff like that. So I think this could be relevant to people who just love painting in general. White Reza, over 1K books released, sign 10 and throw them in the pot, wishing us luck. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, I wonder how many. That's really interesting. I wonder how many copies, like how it will. You know, there are certain things. It's so interesting because I thought about it a lot today. Like people say that creating a business is the most, like, you know, the scariest, most unsafe, unsecure thing financially and so on. And the way I see it, like more than getting a job, the way I see it, building a business, if you do it correctly, has more security than a job, because I have a lot of streams of income. Right now, I am dependent on them, but in order for everything to go wrong, like for me to lose, everything has to go wrong. Like videos stop getting watched, courses stop getting sold, books stop getting sold, and all of these things are just very unlikely to happen. The point I'm getting at is that with this kind of a project, you know, I think I forgot the point I was getting at. But I think, why did I want to say that? Yeah, because okay, so with my books, I can tell like how many copies every book sells a month on average. It builds some kind of a, you know, a bar, and then it stays there. It's very consistent with Amazon. It's very consistent with my courses too. If I look at it, I can tell on average how many courses I sell a month. It's very even. So I wonder what this will settle on. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be more than the educational books. It could be less. My guess would be less, but who knows? You know, because this kind of a thing has a wide appeal just for anyone who enjoys art. So yeah, here's a good one. This is one of the more realistic ones here. Really like the tail lights on this one. It's too bad the camera doesn't do it full justice, you know, but that's fine. I didn't want to screen share today. Ellen Rich, those are awesome. I too have been painting cars, mostly vintage cars. Love their lines and personalities. Yeah, there's a lot of beauty in vintage cars. And I think, why is my camera so crooked? Let me straighten this a bit. There we go. I so don't care about the model. All I care about is like the light and shadow and how interesting of a pattern it creates with the car. The beautiful thing about older cars is that they do have this kind of a square, more boxy shape in some cases, right? That I really, really like. It's very unique, I think. Here's the first one I think so far that is portrait oriented. rather than landscape. Let's leave it on that for a few moments. What's your Alan? What's your favorite car to paint? I wonder. Like, if is there a favorite model, or you're like me and you're kind of agnostic and whatever? Pierre, the little watercolors I've done change color over the day as the light changes. It's incredible, and you don't see that with oils. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Changes. It really matters if the pages hit directly by light. I find that the scans really complement my watercolors. I think they're so. It's almost like the scan, because when you scan it, it's lit. It almost preserves it in direct sunlight, so to speak. So I think the quality is going to be really good, and I'm going to scan these probably 600 DPI so that it's really crisp. In the book, 300 is not going to be enough for me, I think, with this one. There is, I believe, a difference in print quality. If you're printing really high quality, I think it should show. And you see, you have these weird cars that I don't know what I aimed for, but it kind of worked, right? But it still looks a little strange. And these, you see how it glows because of the light coming from the side. That's pretty much eliminated when scanning, so that's a good thing. But here are two that I really, really like. This one I have a video for. This one I don't, unfortunately, but I really like this connection here. How the back of the car goes blurry. That's so cool. That's one of my favorites, to play around with edges and so on. John says, absolutely, there shouldn't be a distinction between watercolor and other painting mediums in a way that diminishes watercolor. Yep. White Reza, don't forget, it's a niche subject, as you said. Adding a few notes would greatly increase the value, I believe, because then not only we have a finished artistic product, but yes, exactly. That's actually a really good point. I'm going to screen capture this comment because it's going to be useful for me. Let's see that it captured it, because my screen capture is a little strange. Yeah, that's an excellent point. I want this to be more than just paintings of cars. It's going to be like the creative process, my thoughts. Could be some personal stuff too, because I can really relate these cars to different times where I painted them, the things I focused on, the things that matter to me. So I want to make it a little more personal in a way so that it relates not only to people who aren't interested in cars, but also to people who aren't specifically interested in watercolor, or don't know that yet, and yes, storytelling. Yeah, that's going to be a big part of it. It's an opportunity, to just share something extra. And I'd love to take that opportunity. Ahmed said, what is your least favorite thing to paint? I get usually quite bored painting animals. I don't know why. I just don't have interest in the subject yet. Maybe in the future that's going to change, but I don't know. I never really enjoyed it this much, unless it's Ruth, which is an animal I have some kind of connection with. I just really don't have the interest. And another caveat is if it's a part of a scene. If it's a part of a bigger scene where you can really tell a story that's like a big scale, like a landscape where there are some goats or sheep or whatever, that I can understand and enjoy doing. Chicken, just when it's a part of the scene, then it's fun. And unless maybe I have a personal connection like Ruth, but otherwise, I don't know why. Never liked it. Hey, Hank, Liron, talk on listening with the greatest of interest. Oh, thank you so much. Monica, good morning, Liron and everyone. Ellen, anything from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, cool. Pure what? Not even three-legged cats. Yeah, not even not even three-legged cats. That's not really an animal, that's a fantasy creature, so you could put it in a different category, thus making it something I may be more interested in painting. By the way, on that note, I'm starting to add some other elements to my art. I'm going to work on a painting probably next week that you're all going to be surprised by. I think you're going to like. Ellen, doing 2 commissions, 63 Corvette and 74 Jaguar. Cool, that's really cool. And are these commissions for the owners of the cars? Probably. I'm curious to hear. White Reza, exactly. Tell us about your thoughts when painting these. What were the aims? Then even someone who's not into cars will have incentive to buy. Yeah, definitely. And I'm probably going to include like some stuff that I've been thinking about generally, things about my daily life routine. I'm going to make it super fun. Pierre, it's on its way to England. What, the three-legged cat? No, not that, right? What were you referring to? I missed it. Sorry. And hey, Hazel, how are you doing? Or from Canada. Cool. So yes, I'm gonna scroll through these. And I have, again, 17 more cards to go, which is going to be fun. I think for the last 17 cards, I'm going to put some extra effort in some and really make them more detailed. And I don't know, just to make it interesting for me. But I like how you see these kinds of experiments of playing around with very strong temperature differences, seeing how it works. Some failed experiments, some more successful. Like we're coming up on something. This feels like I had a downhill kind of thing, but then we're coming up on something I really really like. I think soon. Um, that's very special in terms of the process. Sometimes I'm able to, and this is something we talked about before. I'm able to disconnect from like the literal and paint it as an abstract. And in these cases, I find that I enjoy painting the most. It's kind of capturing the essence of what I see, even if I don't follow the lines exactly or things like that. And this was a painting where I really succeeded in doing that, which is why I think the windows look so good. This one too. There will be another few later on that they really showcase this. And then there are a few very bizarre experiments that I did here that didn't really work out as well as I thought. This one I really like too. Jackie Foxy, hey, welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. Yeah, by request. Oh, okay, good. Not the cat itself, but the painting of the cat. That's great. I'm happy to hear it. Nice day from Prague. Cool. Roxanne, hello. I love how you want to help other artists grow. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I'm doing my best to share and share my processes, the way I think about art in general. Hopefully, I can encourage some people out there. So we're coming up on the painting. I talk about it. Really show that kind of avoiding literal painting. I'll show you. Cars, my pain in the butt. Yeah, I get it. It could be that for some people. So this is a perfect example of that. After like a few minutes in, I just disconnected from what is there and painted it in even individual weird shapes. And I think that works. That's some of the paintings I enjoy the most. And it's funny because people seeing this won't necessarily like it. It depends on your taste. But to me, I know what it took to paint this. And I'm like, wow, that's super cool. Now, this really contrasts with the next painting that is a bit more deliberate and planned. And I worked on in multiple glazes, right? And you can tell that it's a bit more finished or polished rather. But this is what I tend to enjoy the most. This I enjoy the achievement afterwards, but this is the most fun process for me, So yeah. Ellen, and your frustration-free watercolor course is excellent and creates inspiration. Awesome. That makes me really happy to hear. No matter how much good feedback I get of the courses, there's always this bit of doubt where I think to myself, like every artist probably, is it actually getting results? Is it actually helping people? Is it actually making a difference? And sometimes it's hard to say, especially as the creator. You're always biased in many ways. Let me see if I can make the camera stand at a bit of a better. Yeah, I keep messing with it and it doesn't really help. So yeah, it's easy to what's the word I'm looking for? Identify with the good and the bad. So like when people give the courses compliments, it's easy for me to think, oh, okay, it's all good, it's perfect, and then lose some critical thinking of the things that could be improved. And then when people very rarely say bad stuff, it's easy to identify with that. And it's important not to do any of these and just look at things clearly. It's not really easy. So it's always encouraging to hear good stuff. Jackie, all my cars look the same. Yeah, that's one of the things, like avoiding symbols, that I'm sure a lot of people have that with. To me, it happens still with people and scenes. They tend to look the same because that's when you work with a cookie cutter approach. And then when you really look at the way things are and you paint them the way they are, it tends to lead to a much, much better result, Carrie, thank you for the heart. Experimenting with 100 cars. Yeah, that's interesting. But I do think I need to put some kind of a thing in there, like painting or watercolor, something that is that for the keywords, on Amazon. I'll figure it out. That's how I got How to Sketch to Succeed. It's just how to sketch. When you go to Amazon, you search for how to sketch, you find it. Manoj, hey Liron, good evening from the Philippines. Thank you so much for being here, Manoj. Hope you're doing super duper well, and hope you're excited. For anyone who joined, I just announced that I'm gonna take all of these car paintings and compile them into a picture book, hopefully a high quality hardcover picture book that you can put like a coffee table thing, put it in your library, and look and flip through for inspiration. And I'm going to share in it some fun stuff regarding the process and some personal stuff about how I approach my art and the things I'm thinking about, and things that are pretty much evergreen and everyone can enjoy. Um, that's a good one. The red and that one red. Yeah, I flipped through a few, but I think I know which one you're talking about. There's one that kind of is turning, and I really like the way it turned out. But yeah, there are a bunch of red cars there. So yeah, Christine, you didn't miss the announcement. Hopefully, you heard it. But yeah, Alessandro Liron, I didn't get why you were so keen on painting these, but now I do see. I would enjoy hearing which features of the cars you see as the most important. Interesting. Yeah, I'm enjoying painting these. That's the main reason why I did do so far. I've had this idea in mind to do a project, like a major project, and painting 100 cars is a major project because it's not just 100 quick paintings. It's 100 paintings I put some effort into, and now I get to reap the fruits of my labor by turning it into a book, right? um, as for the other part, which features of the cars you see is most important? Yeah, I'll talk about that too. To me, the main thing is the light and shadow, meaning like top and bottom. Top and bottom, the top surfaces tend to get light, and you can see it here. Top, and this thing faces top, and then what faces forward and down tends to be more in the shadow. One thing I really like is the door handles, funny enough, because they tend to split the light and shadow areas. They tend to put light inside the shadow. So that's something I really enjoy. Depending on the light and shadow conditions, I really enjoy the tail lights. This is the perfect example of that too. Another one of my favorites, I think this is the perfect watercolor to me. It has just the right amount of detail and very nice contrast of edges, some smooth, some sharp. This has everything I'd want in a watercolor. Um, this one is cut. That's so strange. That's another one where I was able to detach from the literal. Thank you, Jackie. Nancy, will you sell or keep all the original car paintings? So that's interesting. I still don't know what I'll do with them. I have a few weird ideas. I talked about even NFTs, but for now, nothing. That's the real answer. For now, I'll do nothing with them. I'm not going to put them up for sale yet. I'll have to consider it. It could be a cool idea to raffle them, but I don't know how much I like the idea of raffles because people always are disappointed when they don't win. Um, Raffle them not just for free, like for people who bought multiple copies, like I mentioned. So for those who joined later, I mentioned that I'm thinking of doing some kind of a promotion to encourage people buying more than one. So let's say if you buy two, I'll send you a signed copy, or I'll send you some kind of a postcard with a signed thing. Just some kind of a perk that could encourage people to buy an extra copy. And an extra copy is fun because it's just a picture book, so you can give it to someone as a gift, or anyone who is slightly interested in art. So it could be a cool thing. But I do want to make it worthwhile, so I have to think about what I will do with it. To actually do a giveaway raffle of the originals sounds like a very interesting idea, but again, like 99.99 people won't get it, so don't know how much I like that idea. I'll have to think about it. How crazy would it be if I just, for I guess 100, that's a long time, but 100 months, I do a raffle with all the paintings, that like one painting at a time of the 100 paintings, and just do a giveaway every month until they're all given away. That could be crazy. I don't know, but I feel like it's going to be an interesting tool in making something fun. So I'll definitely hold on to them for now, and we'll see. I actually did sell 3 of the cars. 2 that I painted for Gail, and 1 that I did for someone else. I did paint like it's very rare, but I did end up selling 3 of them. One that's very realistic, kind of golf cart thing. I don't have it. I did scan it, so I have the scan, so I could use it in the book, but I don't have it. But yeah, it's very rare. Jackie, not sure if it's only my fault. Maybe the old good times with awesome old America cars. You know what I mean? New cars look the same and not so impressed with automotive. Yeah, again, this is why to me it's more about the light and shadow and less about the actual model of the car. I'm not into cars at all, funny enough. I'm only into the visual aspect. I'm not into cars. I don't know much about cars. Um, I don't know anything almost, you know. I know the bare minimum to drive one and fill the gas. That's pretty much it. Marjorie, good morning to you all. Thank you for being here, Marjorie. Hope you're doing well. Was happy to hear from you. Barb, hey, Liron, watercolor is my nemesis and my obsession. That's funny. White Dress as Such book is actually a very good way to um, valorize our painting exercises. I take note. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure. Let me know. Um, looking for a dark blue Jaguar. Maybe I'll do one. We'll see. Jackie, do you paint old cars, i.e., veterans? That is cars I love. Can't make myself draw those new ones. Yeah. And my problem is the window proportions. Yeah, I get it. I get it. We're gonna come up on a few very old cars soon, and I totally get it. I don't know. To me, I enjoy both the same, both types. It's more about the visual interest in them. So you could almost take the picture of the car, blur it out, do a bunch of filters on it. If I like that, I'll paint it no matter the model, how old, new, and so on. You know, I'm a bit agnostic about it. This could honestly be like 100 bicycle challenge. It could be a lot of things, but cars I find to me are easy to paint multiples of. Bicycle, I feel like are too similar, for example. Motorcycles, same. I actually have some motorcycles here. This is one of my favorites too. Just really nailed the whole visual aspect of it. It's just a bunch of visual shapes, very crude, kind of rough painting process that ended up looking really great. You know, I love these. These are the ones I end up liking the most. Here's an old one, old Russian car. Here's a tractor. Took this from a picture I took in Georgia, like a quick one, a blurry picture, and I made it sharp somehow, if I remember correctly. This is a more deliberate, calculated one. These are the ones I tend to feel the least connection with, the ones that are more calculated. This I actually have a video of. And we're coming up on, this is nice. We're coming up on one of my favorites. Maybe it's my favorite. The other one was my favorite to number 6, but look at this. This one is, I don't know, I just love this car. This is going to be like one of the highlights of the book. This one and the next one, which is the same car, different angles. I saw this one in Georgia again in a parking lot. Someone was driving it, and I was like, I have to snap a real fast picture of it. I love how, you know how I say let your creative idea dictate the process. So don't be romantic about the method you paint. Like, don't force yourself to paint. I paint only on multiple layers, or I paint alla prima only. Make the painting process serve the specific subject, and that's something that's not easy to do. I managed to do it here. This is why I like this one so much. Let me see how can you see it well here too. Yeah, I could just do this, but this is why I like this one so much. It's just I let the end result direct my efforts. So I painted it in a very non-orthodox way. I used a lot of opaque paint randomly in different spots, and it just works for me. So this is why I'm extra proud of this one, for sure. I'm going to flip to the next one in a moment. Bethany, oh man, I'm finishing up a 69 Dodge Dart right now, and the taillights absolutely kicked my butt. Yeah, sometimes it's so easy to get lost in that abstract pattern of the taillights or headlights too. Jackie Foxy Limited print set signed. That is how my professor was saying. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought of prints. You know what? Let me check on Ruth because I haven't heard from her in a while. I'll be back in a second. She's good. She's resting on her pillow. Because usually she comes here. sometime midstream, and she didn't this time. So yeah, you know what? That could be interesting. So I could do like, or this could be a part of the perk. So if you buy a few copies, I can send you a signed print or two. Um, hmm. Or yeah, limited print for all of them. That would be interesting. But that's a lot of cars, so maybe like 5 of each. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting idea. I'll definitely have that in mind. Again, just put a winning ticket in. So here's my problem. The problem is I don't have any influence over the sales and shipping. It's Amazon does all of that. I could do some of it myself, but you know, it's a lot of work. It's not something I really want to do, to ship out, hundreds of books or whatever. Um, if I could do that, that would be awesome. That could be really cool. Um, but yeah, valorize to give value. Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's honestly, it's a fantastic idea. It's just so impractical for me. If you want to go that route, I would. That's another interesting way of looking at it. I could crowdfund the whole thing and just talk to a printing facility here, make it myself, do all of the shipping and fulfillment myself, and then I can do whatever I want with it, right? But that's a lot of work. It is true that you get to keep all of the profits, but you do need to bear the printing costs. So yeah, not my really. I don't think that's the route I'm gonna go. That's too much. But man, if I could do something like that, that could be so fun. You know, Ellen, offer prints for sale. Yeah, that's definitely an option. I need to generally start offering prints for sale because right now I don't. I'll get to that. I'll start offering that. I started talking to a few places and kind of figuring out their service. I even experimented with printing a watercolor on canvas. So we'll see how that goes. And on Kappa board, we'll see. Maybe I'll add some more options. Maybe in the gallery too. Who knows? Margaret, there are a lot of people who are really into cars, and this book would probably be really appealing to that audience. Somehow figure out how to target that market too. Yep, that's a great idea. There are a couple of audiences. I want to open up a notepad because I have a lot to write here. Just want to make sure I don't forget stuff. Sorry about that, dead air. And I want to write down Paula's email so I get back to you. Okay, good. That is a great tip. I see the purpose now more clear. Characters, nice shapes. Yeah, I love those shapes. Hank, your format for talking, showing the pieces is outstanding. Well thought out. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit awkward on here. Like if you'd have a third camera showing the mess that I have going on here, it won't be pretty. But all that matters is the end product, right? What you see. This one, another one of my favorites for sure. I love this one so much. This thing here with the, just putting opaque paint, letting it kind of blur, and this little highlight up top. I really, really like this one. These two, honestly, are probably together two of my favorites for sure. Hey, Jill, how are you doing? It's been a while. Margaret, green and red always resonates. Yeah, yeah. And you'll notice I didn't even I kind of muted both equally. I didn't go too crazy in one direction. Could be appealing for children too. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think the packaging and the cover and everything will be that appealing to children. Maybe children who are into art. I, as a 10-year-old, would have enjoyed this book for sure because my grandma bought me when I was very young a few books with. I should have them at my parents' place. It's books about artists. I think I brought one of them here, but I can't see it in front of me. Like a series of books covering, Van Gogh and Picasso and another artist I don't remember. 3 I had of these, and I really enjoyed them. Just looking at the art, maybe that's some of what opened it up to me as a kid. But yeah, in that sense, yes, for children who are into art, definitely, and that could be a good gift for a grandkid or something like that for sure. Pierre, I've heard Georgia is one of the most undiscovered best places in the world to travel to. Yeah, it's a good point with the undiscovered because it's so cheap in there, and it doesn't feel too touristy at all. It didn't feel like when I was in South America. You know, when I visited South America, everyone there spoke Hebrew, like the store owners and stuff, because there are um, so many tourists there. You know, travelers from here, so it felt very touristy. Plus, there are many countries that feel very touristy. Georgia wasn't one of them. It felt just like a place. You can tell that it's, you know, in some aspects it's a very advanced country, but still the wages are low and the costs are low and things are low. Financially, I think they're doing okay, but they're not like they could be doing much better. So you can kind of tell there's this veil of modernity over something that is still in development, I guess, in a way. But the development rate there is crazy. Like, I've seen so many new buildings there. There's a real um what's the word for it? I don't know, but the growth feels exponential. You know, there's a lot of things that happen there. That we had a guide, and she told us like everything. Like, this is everything is new here. Someone in the government really took upon themselves to make this thing look good. Tons of roads. The roads there are much better than here, by the way. I think they're more advanced than here for sure. And it's super cheap. So um, yeah, it was just a really. I was shocked that we ordered some food, and I was shocked that the bottom line price, it was really nice, and the food is great, awesome food, really tasty, great quality, beautiful nature, beautiful history. There's a lot of history in there because there's so many, you know, so many things have happened on that land that so many countries fought over it, I guess. So you have influences from everywhere, which is kind of tragic, you know, because they really in the past destroyed a lot of things in the country, but. Um, just a beautiful place. Yep, definitely undiscovered compared to other places for sure. That's a good one. You may turn me into 100 cars challenge. Yeah, you see, that's the point. That's the goal here of showing all of this. Thank you so much, Landed Heart. You like the Russian car? Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. Here's another tractor from a picture I took in Georgia, so you can tell this. I was in a streak of painting a bunch of cars from there, and the picture originally was actually blurry. So this is why this is also blurry. But I like that some of them are kind of, you know, experiments, fun, not too serious. Some of them, like here, I signed in the middle of the painting. I barely do that. I don't know, just for fun. This one, the technique turned out perfect. Like, I don't know how I got these wet and wet combinations next to sharp lines. This wet and wet, I don't know, it's just perfect technique wise. I don't even think it's the most interesting one, and it's black and white, of course, but technique wise, one of my favorites for sure. There's something to like about every one of those, I think. Tortilla Rep says, "What's your guys' thoughts on watercolor pencils?" Yeah, that would be interesting to hear what people say. I haven't tried them too much. I do get the appeal now that I've seen them more in use by other artists. Still not enough for me to experience to actually say. But I know you can paint over wet surfaces and it will blend too. So that's something I should try. Yes, your favorite in print suitable to frame. Hmm. Interesting. So to take my favorite ones, do prints kind of standard sizes so that it's easier to frame. Yep. I'll have that in mind for sure. How does it work with Amazon from printed products? Who pays the printing costs and who decides how many books are produced in advance? So here's the thing: they don't produce anything in advance. That's the beauty of it, because they're so, you know, they have so many authors. They can just print on demand. So people place their orders and they print to order. As for the printing cost, they pay it, but of course you give up percentages. So the way it works, if I'm not mistaken, that's how it is for Kindle and paperbacks. You can choose the 70% royalty option, and they just give you 70% of the royalties. I think with the printed, it's minus a minimal printing cost that is based on the number of pages of the book. So just to give you an idea, for my, if I'm not mistaken, I'm actually not sure, but for my how to sketchbook that costs $16 retail for the paperback, I believe I make around $6, $5 of profit, which is actually a lot after expenses. You know what? No, I probably make more on that because it's like, okay, 70%. So that'll be about, out of 16, it'll be about what, $10, something like that. And then minus two, maybe. So maybe I make an $8 to $10 per sale, which is really good because historically authors get like 10%, 15% if you're a superhero, So that's really high. For the publishing houses that translated my books to Spanish and Russian, there I make 10%, much, much lower. So it's kind of that's how it works. So you pay the printing costs by getting a royalty out of the retail price. That's how it works. So yeah, and it works really well. It's a great deal, if you have your own audience and you know how to market your stuff. It could be a better path. You could make more money, even compared to traditional publishing houses. Now, if a publishing house approaches me about this book and make a good offer, I may consider it, because then I have a bit more leeway. So I don't have to deal with formatting, cover, design, decision making. They have experience with it. And then also selling, putting it in bookstores and so on. And honestly, maybe I could work a deal with one to do the kind of hidden golden tickets in some of them. Though I think it's a bit of a weird thing. I don't think many publishing houses will do that. But it's so funny. I feel like so many people who have no audience, no like brand, still get publishing contracts, and the ones I tried getting were really hard. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure what's a better deal for me. I may make more money as an indie. The one thing that I'm thinking about is, because this is a picture book, it is important that it'll be high quality. So, and Amazon sends you author copies, like proof copies, so you can flip through it, make sure everything looks just the way you want it to look. But still, if you go with an actual publishing house, the quality may be better and the distribution is much, much better. So it's a trade-off. I definitely think I'll sell more copies, like just copies net, with a publishing house. The question is how much royalty I'll make a total, and if I feel like the process, works the way I want it to, I guess. Who knows? You even turn it because it's nice. I will paint cars more. Definitely, yeah. Just try and do the trick. Turn the photo black and white, because you say all of them look the same, I believe. So that's one thing where you really have to observe and really have to look at the cars individually. Not like a car in a symbol way, not like a sausage hand or like a red face person. You know what I mean? Eldon Sowers, the green on that car is so striking. Was this the color in your was this a color in your palette or a mix? Also, hi. Yeah. This was actually my May green. It's a pre-mix May green that it's the one I use a lot for grass in landscapes. I may have added a bit of yellow to it, a bit of Indian yellow, but just a touch. It's mostly that. I love that green. Pierre, yeah, let's hope Russia doesn't steal the thing. Yeah. Also, there are companies which provide this shipping and printing service for artists worldwide. Yep. What is the boat painting you have behind you, Liron? Yeah, so this is a painting, and I'll probably get it wrong, but here it is. This, I used to sell my paintings at the art fair here in Tel Aviv. It's an art fair that still runs to this day. They're very popular. Another artist there, Alexei Bookingholtz, also sold his paintings there, and I loved his work. He was, out of all the artists in the art fair, he was the most similar to me in style. I love his work. I purchased 2 of his paintings. I have another one here. Love it. I'll show it to you up close maybe another time. But I really, really love this. Framed it. Got it to look really, really nice here. He's the one who made me want to use more opaque paint. He's a master of it. Honestly, there's so much opaque red on these masks. It's hard to see from afar, but there's like opaque red on these masks. So let me see if I go solo layout. It's probably, yeah, okay. It's still hard to see, but there's a lot of opaque paint there, and it looks so good. Landed Heart, your art is so inspiring. Thank you so much for it. Oh, and the car emoji. Thank you. Let's flip over This is a purple, very purple. Carbazole violet here. This one. Let's stick on the bus. I like the bus. John, about watercolor pencils, I don't like them as a replacement, but I like to use them with watercolors because you can lay down a sketch with them and paint over it with no pencil lines. Yep. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Agree. I hate them too for 5-year-olds. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you can make really good use of them if you know how. And they can add some interesting texture and definition. That I don't like as much in terms of final look for my pieces, but maybe I will experiment more. Josephine, wow, this is very inspiring to see you reach this step in the project, knowing how long you've been working on it. When did you paint the first card for the book? Yeah, so it was about 2 years ago. I think we figured that out. It was 103 or 113 weeks ago. How many weeks are in a year? 56 weeks in a year. Okay, so if I do the good old division, 113, I believe it was, divided by 52. So it was around 2.1 years ago. So around 2 years and yeah, something like 2 years and 2 months, maybe something like that. Even more, 3 months, 2 months. I'm not sure. But yeah, math live is never a good idea. Jackie, what language do you have that book? How about self-publishing? So for the Cars book, it's going to be in English, but I don't know. Maybe I'll translate it in the future. I would love for my books to be in any language possible. It's just that it costs a lot of money sometimes to translate, depending on how you do it. Usually, if you go with a publishing house, yes, they will translate it for you, which is why I find the appeal of it very, very significant. But yeah, this is going to be probably self-published. We'll see. White Reza, do you give up your rights to Amazon? I mean, if a traditional publisher approaches you after you put it on Amazon, can you remove it from Amazon and sign with the publisher? So here's the thing. I believe, first off, I own everything. The rights don't go to Amazon. I believe if I sell the rights to a publisher, it will vary. So some publishers may be okay with it staying on Amazon, but I think most will want you to remove it and they'll upload it themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a trick to change the publisher of the book so that it keeps all the reviews and reputation. But that's to me, that's a dumb move. I don't think I'll do it. But as for rights in general, it works in a regional way. So I, as the author, own everything, even after publishing it on Amazon, and I own the language, all language and region rights, and then I can sell some of them off. So, for example, the Spanish rights I sold to a Spanish publishing house, the Russian rights I sold to a Russian publishing house, and so on. And I've tried to sell to at least 5 other languages. Haven't gotten a yes. Their problem for now. Everyone's gonna regret it. That's my goal in life, to make everyone who passed on me to regret they did, and maybe then do business with them. Who knows? Not in a petty kind of revenge way, but in like, I'm gonna show you. Let's do this. You want to play around with, because the light's starting to seep in. So you get a better look. Here's one I really, really like. I posted a comparison of this in the reference photo. They're like nearly identical. Well, a publishing house provides efficient distribution. If it's a good one, I'm not in favor of Amazon on a general basis, but all this is really interesting to discover. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's interesting. And I know a lot of people won't. The thing is, and I don't know what I think about it, specifically Amazon. Every company has problems. Once there's more than one person in the company, I'm a one-person company. I'm not a company. I'm a I don't know what you'd call it, like an LLC or sole proprietorship, if you will. Once there's more than one person, there's going to be problems. There's going to be scandals. There's going to be stuff. But what I will say is these companies are so entrenched in our lives, people don't even understand it. They don't understand that before Amazon, I guess it was very hard to order pretty much anything you want and get it the next day. So without going into the politics of it, people definitely talk with their money and their convenience. maybe it's just a tragic reality of life, even though on the one hand, one side of the mouth, you can say that you dislike something, but then on the other, and I'm not talking about you personally, of course, but you can pay for that on an everyday basis, so yeah, Amazon has definitely been really good for authors. um, I don't know if I would be able to do what I do without Amazon, because originally the first couple of years of the business, that was my main stream of income, the books, and they did sell very nicely. They still do. So that's the trade-off. So I can't when you get a check from them, it's very hard to dislike them. That's what I'll say. Um, Joe Smith, hi Liron, did you sell many paintings in this art fair? Yeah, I actually did. The thing is, so I did a lot of good work there, and I really matched like the value proposition of the paintings. I found ideal price points where they will sell quite a bit, but it still at some point felt like I need to up my prices, and it was very hard for me to keep up with my work here, producing content, working on my courses, my websites, everything else. It was very hard. And it's 2 days a week, the art fair. So it sounds like, oh, no big deal, like a part time thing. But it's very demanding. It's 2 days where you can't really do anything else. So you start there at around 7, you get set up and everything. And then it ends at around 5, 6. And that happens every Tuesday and Friday. Very demanding. So that leaves me with Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and an extra work day. It was very hard, and at some point, I felt like I had a few very good days there, but overall, when I averaged it out, I didn't feel like it gave me enough of a return to justify the alternative cost of not being able to work on my business properly. Now, I will say, one of my students discovered me in the art fair, so that paid off, because he later did many lessons with me, and I feel like I was able to help him really well, and he's on a much better level now, and he's at a stage where all he has to do is continue painting, honestly, and he'll reach his goals, kind of like I told you, Henny, in the beginning. So that's one thing. Another thing, I met a doctor who purchased from me there and then visited here again, and I just invited him over to the studio, and he looked at a bunch of like all of my paintings and chose a few. So it was really fun. It was kind of, I looked at it at the time as a one-time transaction, because most of it was like just tourists who buy a painting and it's fun and it's nice and that's it. So it felt like not leveraged enough, which is why I quit. I did sell many paintings. I have the spreadsheet so I can go and check. Um, I have to say it was in the hundreds, but low hundreds probably. I'm not even sure if it was low hundreds. A lot though. Yes. Um, Pierre, have you ever thought about putting a painting tour together, small group to teach? Like what? Like an actual workshop that you do a couple of days and everything? Yes, definitely. It's something that'll happen in the future. Jackie, I can translate your book to Czech. That'll be cool. I actually have been approached by a Czech publishing house. There was kind of a miscommunication on my part too, but it never materialized. At some point, I think they just moved on, honestly. But yeah, I missed a message or an email, and then I got back to them, and then it took them a long time to get back to me. But then we were both in the communication. I sent them everything, but I think they just wasn't either a good match or their situation changed, so they couldn't do it. So yeah, it was close. It was close. Right, Reza, besides scandals, the deeper issue is that they eat small publishers and get a monopoly that is not healthy. But maybe I'm just wrong. Yeah, it's a good question. I honestly am not sure what to think about it. Because on the one hand, yes, it's true. The competition isn't fully like, it's very hard to compete with. You know what I think? It's not like a complete answer to the question, but I will say that when you go against like this giant of a company, I think you can succeed and you can carve out your own market niche, and you can be as big as like the biggest, not as Amazon, because Amazon do a bunch of stuff, but you can compete with them in terms of publishing, but you have to find the way to do that. You have to have some different value. So let me give you an example. The service, if you provide a much more personalized service, So let's say a publisher reaches me and their goal is to get me to go with them and not with Amazon. If they make a good enough of an offer, and it doesn't mean necessarily financially, but I feel like I actually have someone to talk to there, and they really bring me into the process of publishing, and they make it something special, and they offer some kind of perk that isn't necessarily financial, I may just go with them. You know what I may do? I may create a book just for them so that I can keep my Amazon thing going and also give them a shot. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the unique value you bring to the table that even though this company right here is bigger, it's more streamlined, it has more reputation, there are a lot of people on the website, so you get an audience and all of that, I'll still go with you. You know, that's kind of my way of thinking of trying to solve that problem um, instead of just looking at the problem, which is a very real problem. You know, that's my thoughts. If you offer premium service for a decent price, I think you can get a lot of people. You know, just think about things like, lawyers or insurance salespeople. That's kind of things that are a little icky. You know, my mom's a lawyer. I have nothing against lawyers, but I'm just saying, like, if you feel like someone really cares about you, you'll go with them. If you feel like you're getting premium treatment and the price is fair. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. But yeah, you're definitely, I'm with you. You know, there's a lot of problems with that I don't know how to solve at all. Hazel, all this publishing talk hurts my artist head. Yeah, sorry, we'll get off of that. Let's look at the cards. Let's appreciate the cards. This was a breakthrough painting for me too. I don't even know why, but I think, okay, yeah, I remember now. This thing here, the screen, sunscreen thing. I painted it fully wet and wet, if I'm not mistaken. I wet the entire um, glass front window, and then I did everything wet and wet with charging and lifting. That was huge for me because it's when I started to really give more credence or more thought to the idea of making the most out of wet and wet, making a lot out of it, and not just relying. And look at how different it is from here on multiple glazes. You know, a glaze and another glaze for darker, and but here I'm making the most, and you can see the flow in these areas. You can see the flow here, you can see the flow here. I think it looks really, really good, and it's because I've done this wet and wet. You know, and by the way, this is how I keep track of the numbers. I actually write them down. So this is car 66. This was a big mess, but now that I look at it, I like it. I remember at the time I kind of hated it, but now I like it a lot. Yep, definitely. Yep. Um, Joe Smith, almost everything in the US is a monopoly, the big fish. Yeah, it's actually crazy to look at every field almost. Didn't expect this live to be that interesting. I'm going to put it in my playlist. Oh, awesome. So I'm happy it could be interesting for a very different reason. You know, that's the thing. When I discovered indie publishing, let's not even forget about Amazon. Generally speaking, when I developed this mindset that I can publish my own product myself, you know, due to the internet, that was a huge deal for me because it really matches my style of life, you know, just trying not to be dependent on others. And knowing that I can make my own course, make my own book, make my own product and sell it directly to people, that's huge. You know, if you forget about the whole big companies thing, you can just do everything on your own website, you know, and do the whole fulfill it yourself, do the crowdfunding. You have a lot of power. And that's an amazing thing, you know. White Rose and I can translate to French. That's a big, like, asking you to translate a book in exchange for a free copy. That's a really good deal for me. So you need to have a good deal too, not just for me. But yeah, I'm grateful for that. I also tried for a French publishing house. They were really nice, and they actually considered it seriously, but it didn't materialize. Most of the business is failures. That's how it works, you know. Racking up the failures. Billy, that is why it's so important to not discard failed artworks. You get back and you really like. That is so true. That is so true from so many of my paintings. We're soon getting to a really good painting there. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it. I don't know if you can guess. Try and guess in a comment what painting we're coming up on. I'll give you a hint. It's a very, very heavy wet and wet painting. We'll see what if you can guess. I don't think so. It's gonna be a hard guess. Liron, your car paintings are fantastic. You should work for a car company. Funny, yeah. Hey Dwayne, how are you doing? So happy to hear you like these. You know, I would consider doing some kind of a collaboration with a car company if they reach out. I'm such a niche within a niche. I'm too small to be discovered easily, but that can happen maybe in the future. Thank you so much, Dwayne, once again. Jackie, best is to work with a printing company and skip the middleman as a publisher. I take that book for a change. Yeah, there is some truth to that. And I can translate your book to Russian. It's already translated. One of them is, at least, They're interested in others. We'll see how that goes. Can't believe I put an ice cream scoop in my coffee again. Mauro, hi, greetings from Uruguay. I follow your advice, truly useful. Thank you so much. So let's reveal the painting that is the epitome of wet and wet. Probably one of my more technically impressive feats when it comes to wet and wet. There's a video documenting this entire process. Very underrated video with very few views, but I don't care because it's a documentation. And having a documentation of painting the processes from the book is really cool, I think. I'll probably set up a website for the book where you can have links to all of the videos featuring the cars, where you can buy the prints. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna write it down. Plus website. Just hold them. Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe the book will have like a barcode you can scan and get your print. That's actually a good idea. I'll do that. This really helps me. I wasn't expecting this live stream to help me so much, but I'm getting a lot of good ideas. White Reza, exactly. I'm seriously thinking nowadays of quitting my job after my current contract. I'll have 60K of spare money, enough, I guess, to start some artistic career, writing and painting. Yeah, honestly, if you're just gonna give a shot to writing, just do it while you're working. I would carve out like 2 hours a week, something like that. If you can do a couple of sessions of 30 minutes writing, even before, so you don't take a big risk, and publish it. It's very easy. And by the way, feel free to email me. I'll help you with the process. Very, very easy, very streamlined. It wasn't that easy when I got started, and it was much harder before that. But they have improved greatly over the years, and you should probably give it a go. Yep. There's nothing to lose. Worst case, you publish something that not a lot of people read. But definitely tell me, and I can help you. Tell you kind of the things that are important. I'm a pretty OG on the Kindle Direct Publishing KDP forums. I did a lot of reading there, and we had a Facebook group, a lot of it. So I know my way around it. It's been a while because I haven't published a book in a while, but I know my way around it. Don't let that fear stop you. It's really, worst case is no one will read it. But I think the worst case is you regretting not doing it. Bottom line. Nancy, the colorful car. Not sure what it. Oh yeah, okay, that's the guess. Yeah, it's not a colorful one though. It was the wet and wet, amazing wet and wet achievement. This one's nice too. This one's nice too. I had kind of ones that I feel like are kind of boring in a row. This one I like. Oh, the next one I like too. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, wasn't the bus. Thank you so much, Dwayne. I'm writing and painting more than 2 hours a day. Wrote several novels, but getting money out of this is not easy, especially in France. Traditional literature is a big thing. I'll write you for advice. So wait, the novels that you wrote, what happened with them? Or did you publish them, or are you just writing and putting it in the drawer? Honestly, you should publish them. I'm sure you should. And by the way, yeah, I support that. 60K. I don't. We don't know the financial situation, but if that's all you got, then maybe save more. But if it's actually just despair, no pension, no stuff like that, then yeah, it's good. But you don't need all of that. It cost me like $0 to publish my first few books. So yeah. Margaret, what kind of camera do you use to make a file to upload your pictures, or do you have a scanner? Yeah, I use a scanner, and these are small enough to fit in the scanner very easily. The scanner is A4 standard size. But honestly, if I had to, and if I have a big painting, I'll go over. There's a print shop, and I'll just scan it there. If I have to get like a high quality scan. You can get away with taking pictures. Honestly, the iPhone is good enough, but my 4K camera is probably better, so I can take a picture a video with it, or even a picture. I'm not even sure. You know what? My iPhone can take 4K video, so maybe it can take 4K pictures too. I'm not sure. Not sure how that works. Wait, 4K pictures, that's like a default now, isn't it? I'm not sure, but the quality is really, really good. The most important thing is the lighting and the angle. If you want to get away without using a scanner, you have to make sure that the angle is just from above so that it's, there's no skewing, and then the lighting is perfect. It has to be overcast lighting so you don't get sharp shadows, and the paper's texture doesn't go through too much, because when you put paintings in direct sunlight, paper's texture goes through. So it needs to be strong light but overcast. That's what I would say. But everyone can find, I guess, a print shop and then scan there if you have to. Joe, many artists, well known, struggle with the business side of it. You are cutting edge with this stuff. Yeah. Honestly, I have so much to learn. Because I'm in this area, I see other art businesses that are more businesses. For me, it's very much around myself, and ideally, I'd like to make enough and to thrive just from making art, selling it, making art, selling it, making a painting, selling it, publishing a book, selling it. But the reality is, yes, some moves need to be done to expand that and to really create a robust revenue stream. But yeah, I'm happy I can kind of serve as an example, because I do share some of these stuff. It's just something you have to do. Honestly, if you're taking this stuff seriously and you want to be able to continue doing it, you have to always think. When I think business, I think problem solving. What's the problem I'm solving? Which is why I went to the very practical direction of teaching and information products, courses, books, because that solves a problem. People struggle with an issue, and I provide a solution. Right? When you sell paintings, there is also a problem, and then it provides a solution. The solution is status or inspiration or muse or whatever it is that makes a person put a painting up in their home or in their office or whatever. So the same thing goes with businesses, solving their problems. It's something I'm trying to shift my mind towards more and more, because it's not easy for me personally. Some people have it more natural. The thing that came naturally to me is content, like posting videos, doing these kinds of things. That comes very easy to me, very natural. I love this one. So this was done on hot press. I'm not even sure what paper it is. You know what? I think I know what paper it is. I think it's a relatively simple paper. I can check. I don't remember the exact name, but yeah. And it turned out really nicely. I just focused on shapes. I love the background. It's very majestic. Really like how this one looks. At the back, this is a reused paper that I just felt like painting, grabbed a piece of paper, didn't expect it to come out this well, and it did. So I love this. All right, Reza, I tried a few traditional publishers but didn't went through. For self-publishing, I don't see it work unless I already have a community somehow. So here's my thing. First off, if you haven't tried traditional publishers in a while, I would do another round. So you have to understand, the way I was able to publish my book in Spanish was I sent emails probably to more than 100 publishing houses. I got extremely lucky in that one of the best ones that I found that is relevant to my topic of book actually was interested, and they were very professional and everything went very smoothly. But I sent probably more than 100 emails just for Spanish publishing houses. And I did the same for Russian and French and Japanese and Arabic, Hindi, German. So you can imagine how many emails I sent. A lot. So yeah, and honestly, I think if I would have worked with local publishing houses, if the language was Hebrew, I'd have an easier time. Now I know the competition in France is probably bigger, but still, locally is usually the easier way to do things. So I would either think of doing another round, or I would just publish it independently on Amazon and just try and get a few close people to buy it and see how it goes, because you'll be surprised. Sometimes a few sales can really push something. It depends on the topic too. If your story is kind of a novel that fits a lot of people, like a romance thing, and it has a very wide potential audience, it could work. I think there's a good feeling in publishing a product, even if it's not necessarily successful. I really enjoyed that some of my books sold under 50 copies, let's just say. So it's like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It feels good to take the thing and turn it into a product. That's me. You may be different, but just a couple of thoughts. Do with it as you please. My friend is a photographer, and he self-published pictures from his hometown. It was like 150 for one book to print, and he sells it for 300 in the shop. Now he is on the third print. 150 150, like, what currency? I wonder, because that's a lot. But yeah, that's good. If he sells it for 300, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a nice third print. Really good job. Old cars, yeah, definitely mine too. Marjorie, the only really successful author I know, Red Widow author, continued to work for 10 years after writing first book. So advice on continue to be employed as spot on starving artists is fallacy. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's such a complex topic, honestly. I feel like the more I learn, the less I know on how to succeed as an artist. It's funny because I do feel like I'm becoming more successful, but I discover how much I don't know. So, yep, it's very tricky. Landed Heart, how many hours do you spend for painting every day? So first off, there are many days I don't paint at all. So you have to look at it in a time frame of weeks. So how many hours in total I paint every week? My guess would be on weeks where I devote more attention to art, it could be anywhere from 6 to 10, maybe. That's not a lot, by the way. That's like 2 hours, 3 hours for a few days. If I really put my effort into it, probably more. Probably I could get to maybe 4 hours times 4 days, something like that, maybe. But on weeks I don't, and I focus a lot on the business side of things, I'll spend 2 to 4 hours painting total. That's not a lot. Now, the painting time that I actually paint is very optimized. I spend it painting. I'm very focused. I'm very much in the process. Plus, there's also practice, like just pure practice time. That sometimes adds another 2 hours a week. But I'm talking painting final pieces. Yeah, probably less than most people think. I'm kind of, my intuition says I spend about 15% of my total work time painting. That's not a lot. And again, sometimes it'll be more. When I feel like I'm near, a point where I'm gonna improve a lot and have a breakthrough, and I feel frustrated with my current art, that usually comes together, I'll do much more. I'll do much, much more. And I'll paint extra sometimes, Fridays and Saturdays, 2 hours each. If I feel like I need to, push through this kind of final resistance and get to the next level, which I feel like I have done in the last 3 weeks to a month and a half. So yeah, less than people think probably, but still a decent amount. When I got started, I painted a lot more. 3 hours every day, 7 days a week for months on end. Chris, good morning. Late as usual. I'll have to watch from the beginning later. Yeah. And by the way, let's go back to this Landed Heart. I think it doesn't necessarily matter how much you paint, you practice. In a way, like, you can get better much faster than you think. So for me, a year or so of painting 3 hours a day every day was enough to get to a very high level. And then from there, it's like a checkpoint. I won't go below that, So every once in a while, I'll put in that huge effort, and then I maintain my level. So you don't have to spend decades. You can get really good under a decade. Just saying, because a lot of people have this limiting belief that it should take such a long time, where it's not necessarily. Not necessarily. Let's move through. This is one of my most hated personally ones. I like this one. This one relaxes me. The Grays. Chris, good morning. Later. Oh, yeah, we read that one. Sorry, John. This is exciting that this stream is encouraging to publish. Yep, definitely. Hopefully, I know. Who knows? It's up to you at the end of the day, White Rezo. Draw with Twinkle. Thank you so much. Joe, I don't read much. I'm a visual person. Yeah, so this Cars book is going to be perfect for visual people that just want to look at, uh, paintings. Okay, yeah. So I was wondering if it's Czech crowns. So 8 euros. Yeah, that makes sense. That's nice. 8 and then sell for 16. Really good profit margins, much better than a traditional publishing house, of course. Much, much better. Marjorie, is there a limit on the time you feel productive while painting? Not really. The only problem is I have so many other things to do. So I try to have really undivided attention while painting, but then when I'm done, I'm done. I have to cut it and move on to the next thing. So maybe I haven't reached that time limit because I'm so busy with other things. You know what? I had a few time periods where I worked on a lot of big pieces to finish them for a project, and I felt tired after finishing a big piece. I needed like 2 hours of rest, 3 hours of rest until I could work on another one. So the answer is yes, there is this time limit. I think if you paint 3 hours straight, you'll get tired. If you're focused, you'll get tired and you'll need an hour or two break. That actually makes sense to me. But usually I work in my art, painting time is usually 2 hour blocks, so I don't go beyond that anyway. It's 2 hours, maybe I'll take a break, another 2 hours. Yeah. Which was, I also like the idea of buying a small house in the countryside with 50K and then starting the adventure with pretty much nothing. Yeah, everyone has their own wants. It's an interesting idea. I feel like I'm developing love to the countryside. Don't know if I'll move there anytime in my life because I really like the city too. But having another place could be awesome. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, definitely, my pleasure. Just go for it. Honestly, the one thing I will say is just try. It's funny to say, but try not having regrets. So whatever you do, make sure it's a decision that the future you will thank you. And I hope that at my deathbed, hopefully a long time from now, I won't regret anything. It's hard not to regret anything, but I'm trying to minimize that at least. Jackie, my problem when I take a camera, an outdoor paint set, I end up taking pictures for 2 hours. Yeah, it's better than nothing. You can paint these pictures then, but at some point you have to sit down and paint. Joe, FYI, SAA YouTube site has some excellent demos posted. Yeah, that's true. And I love how there are 3 words here that are abbreviations. FYI, SAA, YT. That's really neat. So let me scroll through some of the last ones. Flip through, rather. This I like. Very realistic grays. This is a very bizarre one, but I love it. Has a nice little realistic flair to it. This one, I bet you remember, I painted it live. And I showed this nice little out of focus effect with the water drops on the window. That's a very special one for me. Ooh, I like this one a lot. Look at the edges. This edge got cut. This one I like a lot. I think this edge, by the way, is because of it's a Bauhong paper. And I cut out the sides and it happened. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, this one I really, really like. Colors don't show really too well here. Let me see if here it's better. Yeah, it's okay. You can find high quality pictures of most of these on Instagram and stuff anyway. But this I really, really like. 2, not a car really, but yeah. And this one. So this is going to be number 83, and then 84 and 85 are the 2 that I don't have here. So there we go. Jackie, you didn't see that vid. So it's originally a live stream, and then I posted a video called "Don't Miss This Wet and Wet Technique" or something like that. So you go ahead and search the channel, you'll find it. It was heavy wet and wet process for the background, and then the water drops. This one, by the way, looks a little special in my opinion. There's a reason for that. I actually worked in multiple glazes, starting with thin yellows, thin reds, thin blues, thin greens. So this is the accumulation of a lot of washes, which gives it a bit of an interesting look, I think. A little more richness in some of the colors. But again, you don't see it really well there, unfortunately. What angle should I hold it for you to see it better? I don't know. It's just the camera. This camera is terrible. I need to upgrade. Why I'm a countryside guy and can live on 300 euro a month, rent excluded. That's why I'm taking this idea more and more seriously. Talking about art, but could also honey or goat cheese. Oh, that's interesting. That's nice produce. Sounds tasty. Let's see here. So you say 300 euros a month. So if we have 60K divided to 300, just out of curiosity, that's 200 months. So that's 16 years. If it's just rent, of course, Oh, if it's just expenses without rent, yes. So yeah, I like finances when it relates to me. Like, I like to calculate, how much I made and make sure that it balances with expenses and the business stuff. And yeah, 2021 was a very bizarre year for me. Just kind of talking macro, and I think after that we'll go over some comments and start wrapping it up. 2020 2019 and 2020 were amazing for me, like big revenue growth. And then 2021, I got a little cocky, I think. So I spent too much on personal, but also on the business. And I wasn't noticing that some things have decreased due to COVID, due to other things, random stuff that happened. And it was a real like a slap. And then so that was 2021. So this year I'm extra responsible, so that I'm able to really set myself up for success in the future. It's been rough mentally, more than like actual rough, because I'm not used to feeling even the slightest insecure. Not because I don't come necessarily from huge wealth, but just because that's how I always had it, being quite frugal, I think. But expenses add up, and the more you grow, the more you have expenses. That's just how it is, and the business expenses and everything else. So it was a very challenging time, and I'm happy. I start to feel like it's behind me a bit, and hopefully I'll set myself up to even better, better success 2023 and so on. And I have hopefully enough to invest back in the business for marketing and to bring in more sales, more people who are aware of what I do. So yeah, it's a challenge, sometimes a mental challenge. But I'm very proud of what I managed to build so far, and being profitable for so many years. It's, not to be taken for granted, I guess. Alessandro says, I'll catch up later. I have to go now, but really helpful. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully entertaining. Joe, is that a giant tricycle you're on? Yes, exactly. These became in fashion here lately. Parents with their kids like to use these kinds of things here. You see it. I think I started seeing it only in the last year or so, but maybe it's been here for a while and I just haven't noticed. I'll check it out. Cool. Stuart, just wanted to say thank you. I started painting during COVID, and your accessible teaching style has been so helpful. Thanks, Liron. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear, and I'm so happy for the people that discovered me in COVID, because I have tried to really up my game when it comes to content and make sure that I produce a lot of it, because I knew a lot of people are kind of escaping the scary reality that affected everyone. So it was really important for me, if I can provide that respite. Is that a word? I'm not even sure. Let's see. I'm gonna Google it. Respite meaning, but just this um, short period of rest or relief from something difficult or unpleasant. Yeah, respite or respite. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, that if I can provide that, that was a huge motivation, honestly. So I'm very happy for the people who discovered me during COVID. One thing I noticed during COVID is not only more people were staying at home, consuming, and learning, but also more competition. More people started their own channels. More people started posting their art, selling their art online, which is responsible to what I talked about earlier. So I'm very grateful for the people who joined in, quite a lot of them. Dwayne, it's kind of hard to create art and do the business side also. Yeah, it's two areas that you have to compartmentalize. If you want to continue creating authentic art and you want to make a living off it, when you're in art mode, you're in art mode. When you're in business mode, you're in business. It's almost like I find myself having to imagine I'm not myself. I'm someone else who does the business side for me, in a way. Very challenging. And Dwayne, feel free to, consult with me, because you're really, I think, aiming to build something similar. So feel free to email me, and I'll try and give you some guidance if you have any specific, questions. White Reza, yeah, but I need to buy the house also. 60K. Crappy house, 5 and 10 years of free time. Yeah. I'm not big on macro risks. I'm big on micro risks. So I like to take, starting an art business and publishing books and all of that. That's micro risks. None of them would take me out completely. And I was very young when I got started, and I'm still quite young. So if you feel like it's a big risk. I would really think long and hard before doing anything like that. But if you feel like it's a micro risk and you'll be okay, that's different. I like micro risks because they open up opportunities. And I'm very lucky in a way, because when I started posting content, when I published the first book, the next day I had 3 sales. And it's not a reality. It's not a very common reality. Now, it doesn't mean it lasted, but it gave me a taste. And then I was like, oh, okay, so it is possible. I actually just now sold a few books. So it really gave me hope. When I think about it, I started with not knowing anything in terms of business, marketing, publishing. And I got lucky because it gave me the hope that it was enough to continue doing it. If nothing would have worked in the beginning, like, as it often doesn't work, and that's okay, you have to go through that and really have a lot of self-awareness. I don't know if I would maybe I'd go to a different field. Who knows? Maybe this channel and everything wouldn't exist today. So yeah, Jackie, you really show us it can be done, and I really appreciate that. I find it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Always trying to encourage. Sometimes when you are in the mood to paint, but you just off to focus on the business. I have to focus. Yeah, you know what I try to do, Dwayne, in that regard. And yeah, definitely feel free to email me. It's so interesting. What I do in that regard is I try to go with the natural flow, because sometimes I don't feel like painting. It's more rare to me, but sometimes I feel like doing a business thing. Sometimes I don't. So if instead of resisting the waves, you just kind of let yourself be washed by them, I feel like painting. Go ahead, paint, like make something super cool, because the next day you'll feel like doing the business or doing marketing or doing content, whatever it is. So instead of resisting it and always being in this situation where you're working hard, let those waves carry you. Right now, if the wave carries you one way and all you want to do is create art, that's a problem if you want to build a business, right? So you have to have that in mind. But to me, very naturally, some days I feel like this, some days I feel like that, and I find that sometimes it's worthwhile not to resist it, but just go with it. Because if I'm really motivated to practice anatomy, then I darn well better be doing that and sit down and paint for 2 hours and just sketch for 2 hours and get a lot of that, use that wave of motivation. And then the next day I'll feel like, oh, okay, I'm too tired. I sketched and painted a lot yesterday. Today I'm going to do something else, Joe Smith, YouTube views are way down for everybody now with the pandemic over. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. At least people are going back to work, doing some making money, which is important if I expect people to buy stuff from me. Yeah, that's how it is. It's okay. It comes and goes. I think what you want to look at as a YouTuber is like long-term trends. Am I growing continuously, even if it's slow? Some months are crazy growth and some are super slow. Right now, my growth on YouTube, it's been great for the last 2 months or so, but before that it was slow for a year. So whatever, yeah, go with the waves. So I think we're at a good spot to wrap it up. If you have any final questions, feel free to drop them and I'll try and answering them. But overall, just to conclude this book, hopefully I'll be able to soon finish the paintings, and simultaneously while I'm doing that, I'll look at my options for creating the book, if I do it myself or if I pay someone to do it for me, and really create a beautiful design, print ready, and just publish it, and give you an opportunity, and everyone else who's interested maybe in cars and artwork, to have something that's just my paintings, and is very fun and kind of easygoing. You order it online, you get it fast, no problems. To me, it's very easy because I don't have to deal with anything. I just publish it once and it's done, and hopefully it will be liked by people. Hopefully it'll be a good product in a way of it actually encourages people to create, gives them some inspiration, is fun to flip through. That's my goal with this, and to have it really look good. And in order for it to look good, I need to make sure that that the way I prepare it and make it is the right way. So will take a couple of months, 6 at least, I think, intuitively, but we'll see about that. John says, awesome paintings, Liron, can't wait to get your book. Thank you so much. Thank you for another great live stream. Thank you so much, White Reza, for being here. Looking forward to the book. That's amazing. Thank you. Hello from Vancouver Island. Looks like I missed everything. Sorry about that, Bunny Kisses. But you heard the announcement again. There's going to be a picture book of me. It's going to be fun, of all of these cars once I finish painting the 17 that are left. Just for Christmas. Oh yeah, I haven't thought of that. That's actually, that's good timing, I think. So right now we're in June. It'll be a tight schedule, but I can make it, I think. We'll see. That's actually a good idea. I haven't thought of like these are the kinds of things I need to think about Christmas. But yeah, that'll be great. So thank you so much everyone for being here. Thank you so much, Jackie, once again. Thank you, Joe. Much appreciated. Thank you, Billy. Bunny kisses. Thank you. Sorry for that you missed some of it, if not all of it. I bet it'll be a great gift even for kids. I really hope so, Jackie. I really hope so. And next week is probably going to be a painting live stream. So we're going to go back to the desk and I'm going to do some painting for you. Let me know if even if you're watching this live stream after the fact, which is obviously not right now because you are watching it. Thank you so much, Dwayne. If you're watching it after the fact, by chance, leave a comment. Let me know what you'd want me to maybe paint next week in live stream. I really hope to hear from you. And thank you so much, Jackie. Much, much appreciated. Like, honestly, this means the world to me knowing that people are actually interested in buying the things I post because that's the way we pay for the everything here around here, and Ruth's food, so I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ruth appreciates it. And yeah, that's it. I will keep you updated and I will share more once I'm in the development process. We'll definitely keep you updated. Until then, take care. And I will see you on Saturday's video. It's going to be a nice one. I think you'll enjoy. And on next week's live stream and all of that good stuff. We'll talk to you again real